Thank you, Dr.
Thank you, Jerry, for
Natarajan.
the support, and Jerry is also involved in ocular genetics, and thanks for being here.
Well, thank you, Dr. Natarajan, for honoring me by having me come to this wonderful symposium. Dr. Majid, Dr. Sajdev, Dr. Sharma, and the delegates, thank you for listening to my talk. I think you'll find it very interesting because this is my perception of the evolution of ophthalmology here in India, my perceptions over the past 33 years. So come with me on the journey. I'll discuss with you where we were, where we are now, and where we're going. So where we were. This, of course, is a very auspicious meeting because it's the 200th anniversary of the first ophthalmic hospital, not only in South Asia, but all of Asia. So it's not only in India, but also all of Asia. The first one, of course, was established in London in 1885 and is known now as Moorfields. Now, why was an eye hospital developed here in India? It had to do with the East India Company. Dr. Benjamin Travers, who was the surgeon here for the East India Company, saw that there were a lot of injuries with the British soldiers and a lot of diseases referable to the eye. So he felt it was very important that we have an eye hospital here. And they had established one in Moorfields in 1805, and so his disciple, he contacted Dr. Travers, and Dr. Richardson came here and established what was then the Madras Eye Infirmary in July of 1819, 200 years ago. So this was first called the Edgemoor Eye Hospital. It's a government hospital. There's one error in the sign outside of the hospital, which was brought to my attention because the first hospital in London was established not in 1818, but as I said, in 1805. But we could excuse them for that error. The hospital in Madras, in Chennai, owes its glory really to Lieutenant Colonel R.H. Elliott, who was the superintendent in 1905 and 1904, and we know him because of the sclerocorneal tree finding that's still considered as innovative and very practical procedure for the treatment of glaucoma, and was developed at the Edgemoor Eye Hospital. The first Indian to occupy the office of superintendent was Dr. Nair, and he oversaw the institution of your postgraduate diploma course in ophthalmology. The first one after independence was Dr. Muthraya, who established the eye bank and performed the first cornea transplant in India. But Indian ophthalmology did not start in 1819. It goes way back to the 5th century BC. Sushruta performed the first cataract surgery, either couching or extracapsular. He was the world's first eye surgeon as we know it. 500 BC, he actually wrote a book called Sushruta Samhita, and he explained his surgical procedures. Now there may be an error in this designation because it says it was 2000 BCE, but it was really the 6th century before. And there they do couching. And see, here's some of the instruments. They also did expulsion of the lens material, not only couching. So here's some of the earliest texts of Indian ophthalmology, Samsutra, Samhita. Beforehand, they treated eye diseases with herbal or plant-based pharmacopoeia. And here's a statue, well-deserved in Hardawar, of Sushruta, and some of his writings. And there were about 120 chapters, books, not only in ophthalmology, but in other fields. And this is one of the manuscripts written on wood. Some of it was translated into English. And here's some references to Sashutra's works. So this goes back, Indian ophthalmology was probably one of the first in the world, before the Arabs, before Europe. And as I said, it goes back 1,000 to 3,000 years before Sashutra, and that was when couching was popular, and it was done even before it was done in Europe. Now let's get to the All India Ophthalmological Society. The first meeting was in 1930 in Mumbai. Now, I did not attend that meeting, although Dr. Narajan thinks I'm old enough that perhaps I could have. But I did attend the Golden Jubilee meeting in Delhi in 1992, and I did attend the Platinum Jubilee in Jaipur in 2017, plus meetings every other year too. But my introduction to India was back in 1991, when we had the AIOS meeting in Udaipur. You can see my form of transportation there. We had it at the medical school there. It was outside. We sat on concrete blocks in an amphitheater, and our meals were prepared in pits dug into the ground. This is the book from that meeting, and it's quite significant.
Amazing.
Because look, the only reference to intraocular lenses was from Rayner and Keeler. The only reference at all to intraocular lenses, because the work there was still intracapsular, capsule and all, to remove the lens. And one of the reasons I came was to work with the Indians to popularize the use of intraocular lenses, and also to train them in extracapsular surgery. We went to eye camps, sponsored by the Rotary, and this was with the KEM Hospital in Bombay. Dr. Natarajan was not there at the time, but this is Dr. Moscati and Dr. Pai, who was in charge of public health at the university and put himself in charge of the food that I could eat and not eat. I lost weight on that trip because of him. Our patients, they segregated the women from the men. They were not together. And here's the post-ops, very comfortable. The examinations we did with the torch and blocked them on the outside. You can see in those days I was much thinner and I had hair, black hair. Our KEM Hospital brought all the instruments, sterilized them. They had a very good policy and procedures, and it worked very efficiently. And the magic water went over our hands, no gloves, our operating theaters. And that's Dr. Moscati, who had been president of this society. And then Quresh Moscati followed a couple of decades later. We did intracapsular. I don't know if the residents had seen intracapsular, but this was one way. We brought our own generator, so we were able to use freezing probes to remove it intact. And our post-ops very happy. And naturally, we did not use lens implants, so these were the aphakic glasses. Naturally, it was a cause of celebration. This is a significant picture. This is Sajjana Moscati when she was engaged to Quresh. The photographer was Quresh Moscati, and of course his father. The next year we came back because we wanted to do further teaching at a major conference on lens implants, and I was asked to participate, to teach, and to interest Indian ophthalmologists in the use of lens implants. And with us were Jan Worst and Fyodorov. So where are we on now? Look at that, femtosecond laser compared to the way we did it in the past. Indian ophthalmology and the state-of-the-art has gone all over India, at least South India. And this is Aravind, how happy they are with the spread of major institutes throughout southern India. And of course, they're proud of the number of cases that they do. It is efficient, like I was at JJ Hospital a couple of days ago in Mumbai, and they have the swinging microscope and the patients are side by side. Patients are transported back and forth to the villages. They have, now you have screening in remote areas by satellite, and this is the way it is today. And not only that, but they teach foreign doctors and for administration and training in ophthalmology. A lot of charitable work is being done. This is our Andaya Desiree Eye Hospital in Gurgaon. Arun Sethi, Rina Sethi, and we come out and we work with them. That's my son. He was out here a few years ago to work with them. Even Mitt Romney was here working with them because it's a Mormon type of a facility. And here we are doing demonstration surgery, school screenings now being done in India, early capture of eye disease, and the wet labs that are fantastic to pick up all these diseases. And again, my son working in the screenings in remote areas. He's not an ophthalmologist, he's a lawyer. School screenings. And last year, 2 members of my staff came out to work with them, Arlene and Elizabeth. And they saw the way the population that they deal with live. These are little huts that the workers rent when they come to Delhi, to Gurgaon, for work. And she met the children of these workers. But believe it or not, inside there was a television and the screening procedures with my staff. Naturally, they had the tour of India. So where are we going? Well, Dr. Prakash talked about the research being done here in India. This is the future. Genetic, stem cell, pluripotent induced embryonic stem cell tissue regeneration. All that work is being done in the institutes here that Dr. Prakash mentioned. Virendra Sangwan is very prominent in stem cell. And these are the reasons for it. These are the strategies that are being used. And we had held in the past a genetics course here at the meeting, and this is my crew. Keratoprosthesis is also being done here. Koresh Moscati with the Pintucci integrated and the Boston keratoprosthesis. Tony Aldavi came out here and was working with the Indians, and the prosthesis is now being made at Aravand in Madurai. So you can see the advances from the distant past, 10 centuries ago, to the present. We're off to the future. Thank you.